Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Today's video is BloxMove BLXM on the exchange. Due to high demand, we are just quickly jumping into this topic to see where we have been. And also just a big top line overview for those that are new to this particular project. And also we're going to a bit of the chart. It's not going to be the chart we usually do. Because it's wrapped with Ethereum. So on TradingView, it's a bit weird. So we're going to use CoinMarketCap just to show you where it's been, where it is now, and all of that good stuff. So guys, BloxMove, very interesting. Go and check out our intro video if you want to know a real in-depth review about this. But the one intriguing thing for me about BloxMove was its partnerships in particular. We'll go on to those in a second, and you'll see clearly that there's definitely some that we already cover. And for sure, it's all about dot connecting and understanding how blockchain in general and all these really cool projects are going to work together. I have a firm belief with blockchain and technology in this capacity. And I was literally thinking the other day to myself, because I'm weird, in my spare time, that actually I'm really excited about decentralization and blockchain because yes, there are CBDC sides to it and some scary stuff, but actually a lot of it is so different to the way the world works right now. It's like there's no competition, and I work in this space, and it's literally like you could, if it was in the what I would call the real world, whether it's finance or business, you would see each other as competitors. But the actual beauty of some of this is that it's all working together to bring everything together, and in the background everything's been done for you, and that relates really to the likes of BloxMove, because BloxMove in its sense is mainly around mobility and transportation. They also are looking heavily into the green efficiency of energy. Of course, we know one or two others in that field, and we will indeed go on to that in a second. But the fact of the matter is, they are bringing to you as a person eventually, albeit some of this is in test phase and some people are using it, some people aren't, and it's in some countries and not others. Eventually, everything, and I mean everything, this is what I truly believe, will be in blockchain, whether you like it or not. And to the general person in the public, they won't have a clue that this has happened, or they won't even know how it's working. And that's why we're in this space as investors, because we're part of something very unique. It's like the internet. When the internet started, everyone was saying this is terrible. No one's going to follow on from this, blah, blah, blah. The World Wide Web, bang, done. Loads of people made a lot of money. That's why they like multi-millionaires and billionaires in the world, not just because of that, but one main reason. And it was the tenacity of something unique to bring information, communication together in one simple mechanism, i.e. www, right? So this is a similar concept, but in a more digital fashion, way more digital. So you see all these like little brands here. Well, I say little, they're big. I mean, the little icons, different brands. You as a consumer right now, I mean, for example, I was in Portsmouth yesterday and working from the beach, as I like to do when it's sunny. I lost my mouse, which is annoying, but different parking spaces, like different companies. Like there was Ringo, there was pay by parking. There's like, I've got like 10 parking apps on my phone. It's ridiculous. And you have to like, oh, which one is it? Oh, each one's got its own card system, and oh, the password I can't remember. Imagine scrapping all that. You still have the use of these projects, but it's all under one system, right? And it means that cohesively, wherever you are, algorithm, data, whatever it is, or finding the best solution for you based on your behaviors or where you are location-wise, all these things are paid for automatically, and the system or the project, or the company is picked for you as well. So another example, let's say you've got a business meeting, albeit most are kind of at home and in your pajamas these days, but like let's say you've got to go and travel, but because of all the data, right, that's been collected digitally for the last, 15, 20 years, behavioral patterns, what you like to buy, don't buy, where you like accommodation wise, what kind of flights you like, prices, all of this stuff. And we're also built on a system where all the prices can't really being manipulated anymore. Albeit, if you think about Uber and everything, that you always sometimes see the prices going up. Well, it's all on an algorithm. It's on an algorithm based on how many times you look at it and go, oh, demand must be high. Oh, someone wants that. We're going to make more money out of this. And it's the same sort of principle in the sense, but blockchain obviously kind of half removes all of that because it's based on a complete algorithm of all data of all transportation. So you've got this meeting in some other country, and because of smart contracts, your calendar is updated, and then it's done everything for you via blockchain. It's booked your transportation to the airport. It's booked your kind of flight, the timings, everything based on your sleep patterns, whatever it is, and based on what kind of flights you like, what kind of food do you like to order. All this stuff's been done for you because it's already learnt you. It probably, your phones and everything, your digital footprint, if you like, knows more about you than you know about yourself. And then all of a sudden, you're just not really doing much yourself. You're just floating around and everything's done. That's the same principle for the likes of what BloxMove is trying to arguably do in the format of transportation in an autonomous way, but more importantly in the background, if you think about crypto transactions and interoperability perspectives, smart contracts, know your customer, DIDs, digital identities, all of these things being done at an efficient, costly way. For example, you're not using as much data, you're not using as much money for your phone contract, you're not using as much time, you're not using as much transportation as you might normally need because it's found the most efficient way. And all of a sudden the economy explodes because everything's going faster, everything can be done faster. Energy costs come down, thus carbon emissions reduce, and all of this stuff. If you think about it, I'm just talking about very basic stuff here. The whole algorithm, the whole intertwining web of blockchain. This is how it all works. This is how it's going to be working. So even things like car sharing, can you imagine, like rental cars? We did a video a while back about Vodafone and Energy Web, EWT, working together with the EV cars. Now, call it conspiracy theory or not, but I truly always believe it's the same with the fuel crisis last year. Look how many EV cars were sold off the back of that. It's the same principle here. They're forcing people into EV cars, right? There's a couple of reasons for that. One, the big push from the Agenda 30, of course, sustainability, and rightly so. We need to find a better way for our transportation moving forwards to reduce carbon emissions. There is an argument about batteries and how they're made, blah, blah, blah. But we have to do something, right? We have to do it in stepstones. These EV cars will very much be digitalized with SIM cards, with DIDs. The ability for you to go into hire cars or taxi cars that don't have drivers anymore, but it knows where you need to go already, because as I've just mentioned before, this whole system's already worked out what's happening based on your agenda, your calendar, your movements, what you like, what you don't like. This is what it's about. But you just walk through, because eventually, I'm talking about maybe like 5-10 years, maybe a bit longer, when we have the chips inside us and the identity of facial recognition fully integrated into an entire system. You're not going to need a physical driving license, a physical passport, a physical identity. You just turn up to the car, it will visualize you in the window, and you just get in. The payment, you don't need a card, you don't need Apple Pay, you don't even need a smartphone. It's just transacted for you. And all these transactions, all these minimal transactions, I'm talking about a transaction of your transportation, the transaction of identification, the transaction of having everything done for you is done. It's done. And that's the amazing thing about blockchain and technology that's occurring and what will be occurring. And this is the future of mobility. This is the future of transportation, the economy increasing, people having more time in these aspects. You go down the line of autonomous vehicles, autonomous transactions, behaviors. This is what it's about. Think how much more people can do. Look how much more people have been doing when working from home. Yeah? People actually been probably, like myself, working more hours than we're contracted for because we then enjoy it more and we have the flexibility of life transitions and this, that and the other. This is where I want to get the points across to everyone. We're not just talking about a really cool project here. We're talking about a complete new infrastructure. And I want to talk about as well, how this will improve other countries that are perhaps behind technologically wise where maybe combining it to the likes of England and other countries, this technology can literally so easily and quickly take a country that's struggling and boost it up massively to the same level of everyone else. That is what I want in this world. I want equality. I want all the other things, of course, sustainability, better living for everyone. But why? And it's literally dictated now by inflations and money and greed and poverty and all this stuff. I want that eradicated. And that's what blockchain brings to the table. And that's why I'm excited about these kind of projects. So here we go. The partners. Mobi, absolutely huge. Dutch blockchain coalition is very interesting. The Dutch are really heavily focusing on blockchain, like many other countries as well. And we just indeed saw recently Stedin working with Energy Web, big Dutch company, working with digital identity-backed systems, boost grid security, DIDs. Listen, guys, all of this is going to intertwine. Energy partner, conveniently, Energy Web Foundation, EWT, we heavily invest in that. 50 Hertz. 50 Hertz are massive. They literally just did an AMA together with Energy Web, which I thought was absolutely fascinating when I watched it the other day. Really cool conversations. The live chat was hilarious as well. I was jumping in with a load of nonsense saying things like, can you please just replace our government, our power systems, our energy systems? But this is the thing. This is how it all kind of like massively intertwines. And I think this is on like a carousel, which is a bit annoying. But in here, things like R3 Corda, guys, big node capacities. We talk about XDC, Xinfin, Quant, all of these projects that work and utilize with R3. R3 is heavily involved with the likes of BIS here in the UK and across the world, really. The whole infrastructure of finance and transactions and messaging. This is what I'm trying to get at, guys. Is like it's all interlaced. It's all part of the plan. And you do get every now and then projects like BloxMove that intertwine a new really cool system, there's R3, to work together. Outside of everything, these would have probably been massive competitors, but these other companies like Uber, like we just saw, the cycling companies, the hiring companies, they're all essentially competitors, but actually in this new system, they're arguably potentially working together. They just don't really feel that way. It's just automated, it's all done. And I think this is all amazing. BloxMove, in my opinion, is still very new. It does need to get onto some new exchanges, and we will talk about that, actually, to be fair, in a second's time. But I just love this. I think this is brilliant. And HSV Porky has done a really cool article here, so I think there's a competition or something for someone to put some articles together for these guys. It's a really interesting AMA from BloxMove, very heavily around DIDs. Of course, DLTs in terms of the transactions and the perspectives, the mobility providers, some examples of how this is all interlaces. Look at all this, all the apps, all the transportation mechanisms, all the different user databases working together autonomously. It's crazy. It's massive opportunity, this one, I think. Like the way, if you think about the way the world is going, what has happened in the last few years, whether it's pushed or not, is happening. It's really interesting to me. I just feel like this is one of those projects that if you can get in early before it's all turned on, it's going to be amazing. It's the same like Stellar, XLM, XTC, XRP even still. All these projects that people are like, oh, it's not moving, it's not doing this, it's not doing that. Well, it's because it's not been switched on yet. What do you think is going to happen by 2025 when they've all done... We've gone through Project Jura, Helvetia, I think there's Dunbar or something. There's another one called something like that. When all these are completed, and I believe the trials, as we did in a few videos back, end of this year, 2023, proper trials I'm talking about. The whole world's in a testing mode right now. Ukraine, Russia, all of these have their own systems that are trying to be built on one system. And when that all gets switched on, what do you think is going to happen to all these utility tokens? Honestly. And I think BloxMove is exactly in that position within the transportation system. We talk about IOTA, the big tangle mechanism, how everything's going to be interlaced and autonomous and all this stuff. Energy Web, about the energy efficiency. You got BloxMove for the transportation. Vodafone for the whole entire communication transcript. Absolutely mega partnerships and interlate. Once you do the dot connecting and you realize, oh, actually, yeah, well, these are partners, energy partners, mobility partners, and they all work with each other anyway, and they all work with bigger companies that already exist. Put 2 and 2 together. BloxMove, in an all-time, it launched back here towards the end of last year, and I think that's around about the time when we were interested in it, but we did, I think, say at the time we would wait for it to reduce, and it has done so. This is a very specific pattern that you see in most launches of any tokens, to be honest, but it's come back down to hit these regions just under $1, and it's almost in line with the likes of EWT in terms of, not necessarily the price point is a few dollars out, but what I mean is, like, it looks like a heavy price, but actually you've got to understand that there's probably going to be a gigantic amount of holders, and that are perhaps waiting just still to see if this comes down a bit further, because we're still in a downward trend. Unfortunately, I can't do my usual analysis of charts, but I just want to identify that where this has been, so this is potentially a benchmark to try and get to in the future, but where it is now. And for me, I have been dollar cost averaging into this really since from around that $1 mark. And it has dropped down a bit further. You can never know when this will switch back around. But if they continue the development of their project and the partnerships and the conversations, this could swing around quite nicely. I'm not saying to you guys, like, this is the one and only. There's a couple of other different projects like it as well. But for sure, I find it interesting, and it's definitely one to watch. In my opinion, I'm not saying go and buy this. This is amazing. I think it's amazing, obviously, but like, do some research, think about where it's been and where it is now, and think about it. Just have it, even if it's on your watch list. Have a think about it. I just think this is one of the really cool projects out there that's under the radar, that's not talked about, and as I said, it doesn't really help with the lack of exchanges that it's available on. I'm just going to go to all markets, actually, just in case there's any missed. No. Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Bitmarks. This is very early stages. One thing to note as well, and for those that maybe didn't know, whenever you're on a project, you might see the little fox here for MetaMask. You can actually press that and it adds it to your MetaMask automatically. But where you see the more option, you can also see the other chains that it's on. So it's really cool to see that it's on BNB. So maybe that's probably one. I think I've got mine via BNB, if I remember correctly. So I've been using PancakeSwap, which I've only really learned to use, to be fair, in the last few months. So I'm quite early with that. I'm quite late with that one, but learning the best I can. But yeah, it probably beats using Ethereum, to be honest, for its gas fees and whatnot. And in terms of market caps and everything like that, it's very early stages. Like I said, I think I'm not sure what the market cap would have been way back here. Obviously, the volumes are still relatively decent. But yeah, I think it's just one of those where keep an eye on it. Like I said, I've been DCAing into this one just to get the portfolio up and running for BloxMove. But for sure, it's something I'm very, very interested in. I don't even have it on my watch list, which is a bit stupid. There we go, put my tick. If anyone didn't know, add your watch list on CoinMarketCap with a little star. So yeah, very interesting indeed. Let us know what you think in the comments. I've literally done this video because many people were asking for it. Just a bit of an update. And conversations around BloxMove reiterated. So yeah, I'll cover this as much as I can amongst the others. What I'm thinking of doing is like a few more dot connecting project videos where we can actually interlace a few of them in one hit. It's quite difficult to do all the different videos, obviously, but we try and do our best to accommodate people's requests. So guys, I'll wrap that up there. Thank you so much for watching. Do let us know if you're holding BloxMove tokens in your portfolio, or indeed, if you are or not, why is that? And also, what do you think about the future of all of this? Not just BloxMove, but this entire system that we are invested in. Thank you for watching, guys. We will indeed see you in the next Whales of Wall Street video. Bye-bye.